Right, back on the boat, and today we're in the Bilge. And if you detect a note of apprehension in my voice, it's because I hate any work in the Bilge. It's cramped, and this is a wide beam boat, so I've got much more room than you'd have in a narrow boat. It might not look like it, but this is after I've cleaned it off camera. Now, I've had a bit of rain in the week that I didn't realise we'd had, and this was bone dry last week. Now it's got maybe half an inch, quarter of an inch of water, and I really don't know how that's got in there, because I thought I'd finally stopped water from getting into the Bilge by one means or another. But it turns out that the safety certificate's overdue. Now, a safety certificate's like an MOT for a boat. It's nothing particularly to worry about. It's a good thing to have, because they just want to make, as the name implies, the boat is safe. It's not polluting the water, and as in my case, it's got a gas cooker. So the worst thing you could ever have in a steel boat like this is a fire. And the sort of colour gas that you get in boats or anywhere sinks because it's heavy, and because the water line is halfway up the windows pretty much on this boat. A gas leak would be pretty catastrophic. So it's a good thing that it's tested. But today I will be fitting this new alternator. I started to fit it last week, but it's the belt was slightly too short because the last alternator was smaller, so I had to wait for a new belt to turn up. I need to tidy all this Bilge pump wiring up because the surveyor won't like that, and I want to make sure that the batteries are charging with my new alternator. It's quite a powerful one. It's 70 amps as opposed to the old one, which would probably be more like 25 or 30. That's where my isolators are. So these batteries have still got charge in them, although they've been pretty much uncharged for over a year. So I was pretty relieved about that, because batteries degrade even if they're not being used at all or drained. But I isolated them, and they seem to have held at least most of their charge, which is great news. But again, deterioration. I'll just notice that this strap is completely and utterly disintegrated. How this happens, I don't know. But it just completely and utterly rotted away. The water level never got that high, so that'll have to be replaced, and basically secure these batteries and go through the whole system. So that's what I'll be doing today. This is quite an interesting thing if ever you've done an alternator. This belt here is the old one, right? So you put that on there like that, on the bottom pulley, and that barely goes on. Right, there's no adjustment at all. I bought this one. Can't really do it with one hand, but that is virtually the same size, side by side. It's a little bit thinner, and that is literally just a few mil longer. I've played this game before with cars, so I knew what I was letting myself in for. And now that goes all the way back. Before it was like that, and I could barely get it. Well, I couldn't even get this tension on it. That's why I had to order a longer one. But that belt is literally 5 or 10 mil longer, and it makes all that difference. So when you think your belt's too short, so you better buy one 20-30 mil longer, I'd go up in 5 or 10 mil increments. little bit of help from the jump pack. What I didn't mention was my seacock, which is a valve. Behind here is the river, and it sucks cooling water in from the river through this pipe, through this filter I should say, through this pipe, which has got a big kink in it I'm going to have to sort out, and through the cooling system of the boat. And it's also got a secondary cooling. This heats the water for the clarifier and so on, which is your hot water for the boat. So that started. I just noticed I haven't tightened up the bottom bolt for the alternator, so it was vibrating a bit, so I'll sort that out now, and then we'll have a look at the wiring to get some charge into the batteries. Oh, and the batteries go through this gizmo here, which is called a split charge diode, and as the name implies, it splits the charge into the leisure batteries and the starter battery. And the idea is if they're charged individually with each other, then you're never reliant on one battery, so they don't all go flat together. Yeah, as suspected. See that? That's just a little bit of rust, nothing major, but that's enough. And trust me, when you're on a lock in the height of the summer, you have to turn your engine off in the lock for good reason, for safety reasons. And there's nothing more embarrassing than your starter motor going click when there's boats queued up and they want to follow you in. Plus, when I get the safety inspection done, I want everything working just right for them. So I'll clean that up, stick that back on. I'll clean up the other end where it bolts onto the isolator, maybe the battery terminal itself, and we should be good to go. So I fitted the belt, it's a lovely fit. Look down at it from the top, it's perfectly in line. These Lucas alternators are pretty much a generic fit, so I wasn't too worried about that. Now, I haven't started this boat in far too long. The mechanical things do not like sitting around. If you think you're preserving something by sticking it in the garage with a sheet over it, you're not. They don't like sitting. Now, off camera, I just turned on the battery isolator for the starter motor, and the starter motor is a different circuit to the rest of the boat, and it's got its own independent battery. But I thought I'd just give it a quick spin. I wasn't expecting it to even click. Now, when I turn the switch, I've got something, which is a lot more than I was expecting. But there's smoke coming off this terminal. And if you look at the environment, the engine sits in a puddle its entire life. Even if it's not in the water, it's near it, and it's a damp environment, and electrics don't like damp environments. So that smoke is probably caused by the dirty connections, which I have cleaned up God knows how many times. This boat's on its third start motor. They just rot, as I showed you with the battery wiring on, which I'm going to have to redo. I mean, I fully expected to do it, but I'll spend the next 10-20 minutes cleaning all the terminals up. Just take them right off, clean them up completely, give them a spray with WD, and stick the jump pack on it, and I'm pretty confident it should fire straight up. This is a cheap bilge pump I bought to back up the other one. I never really wired it in properly. Safety inspector surveyor will not like this. It's not bound up, it's not secured. It's cheap and crap. It lasted a matter of weeks. It's rubbish. So I've just taken it out because I'm trying to tidy up this bilge as I go, and miscellaneous wires are not good. In contrast, this bilge pump here, I lifted it out of where it lives under the prop, so I could clean in the bilge, and I'll empty this out again tonight before I go. But that has lasted the entire life of the boat. It's probably 3 or 4 times the price of the other pump, but it works perfectly and always has. And there's an expression in boating: do not bet your boat on a bilge pump. If you think that your pump is working fine and you can go on holiday and not have your boat checked or whatever, you can expect to find it on the bottom when you come back. batteries go flat. As I've just shown you on the engine, connections corrode. So you just cannot, even a good quality one like this, you cannot guarantee that your pump is working. So you've got to check your boat all the time. Okay, so you saw the water coming outside of the boat. So it goes through here again, into this filter, which I've just checked, that's perfectly clean, up. Despite this kink, it actually still flows through it. Through this, I think they call that a cold water pump or whatever. Through the engine and out, as I've shown you. Now, the next jobs in here are going to all be very, very boring cleaning, and I won't bother filming that for you. But it's going to be cleaning, renewing all these wires which are corroded, securing the batteries, and maybe some painting, I don't know, but just basically cleaning and tidying. It's very boring to watch, so I won't film that. But what I will say is everything's great. This batteries are charged, they're charging, the boat's watertight, great, but every time you leave your boat, shut that off. I mean, we're going into summer now, but if that froze up in the winter, it would explode and your boat would sink in half an hour. And isolate your electrics, A, for safety, and B, to stop your batteries going flat. Because if you're liveaboard and you come onto your boat in February and you've left anything on, it will just flatten your battery and you're in a world of pain. That's why you have a 2 battery system, so at least you can start your battery and charge your batteries up. Sorry, start your engine and charge your batteries up. You never really want to be reliant on one system. That's why I've got a nice big generator as well, so I've always got power. So basically you can buy your way out of a lot of trouble. But if you just isolate your water, isolate your electric every time, you should never have a problem. I've had the engine running, fitted an exciter wire or alternator light wire to the alternator, and that's now charging at a good strong 14.5 volts, which is exactly where you want it. So that, when I had it running, I stuck my head over the side of the boat to see if the coolant was flowing, and I've fallen for this one before when it wasn't, and I was like, oh god, well, the pump's packed up. But it's not, it's this seacock, right? Over time, muck and bits of twig and leaves and stuff get inside here, and there's this coarse filter inside, and that gets all clogged up. That's what it's there for, to stop that muck getting around the engine. And also it gets caught in the tap, if you like, where it comes in through the side of the boat. And when I turn it on, and when this lever is pointing sort of in parallel with the seacock, that's on and that's off. So when you clean out the filter, you just turn the tap and let some water run through it, which I'll pump out later, and just generally clean it out. It doesn't seem to be coming out quick enough, so I'm guessing there's still a bit of muck plugging it up. So I'll poke it out with a stick a bit more. Oh yeah, see, that's picking up already. And that's river water coming in now. And just shut it off again. Replace the cap, which I'll put somewhere, I'll find that in a minute. Put the filter back in, and then I should have coolant exiting outside of the boat. Okay, so like I say, it's a few hours of very boring cleaning and tidying and maintenance, and then I'll be cracking back on with the paint. And then after that, I'll be doing work on the canopy to make that look better. If you're finding these videos interesting or whatever, give us a like and subscribe. Any questions you want to ask, fire away, and I'll carry on with the progress with this. And again, have a look at my other videos. I've got 15 projects I counted: cars, motorbikes, even an ice cream van. So just tell me what you want to see, and I'll make the videos of the progress as I go. Have a good one.